everybody. So welcome to Crown the Caddy for this week. We're going to be talking about full circle business, how to work your business full circle and really maximize your income. And I want to start first, though, with our takeaways from our fall advance this past weekend, which was so powerful, so amazing. And I actually am going to start with, I just got to find her. Hold on, let me remove my spotlight so I can find her. Megan. Well, I can't spotlight. Oh, there you are. Yay, now I can spotlight you. So I'm starting with Megan because she is the baby here. She
Yeah.
is a new consultant, and this was her first event
That
ever.
happened
So we're going to
for
start with
me.
Megan, and she's just going to quickly share a giveaway. I mean, not a giveaway, a takeaway. She's giving you a takeaway.
So the biggest thing was going to everybody can hear me, right? Okay. So my biggest thing was it was very affirming to me because it was very obvious that the people that are in this industry with us, in Mary Kay with us, do in fact follow the God first that Mary Kay Ash started, which is so important to me because I've been working so hard on deepening my relationship with the Lord and allowing it to control my life more than me controlling my own life. So that was the biggest thing. And then just being able to see other people that have been in it longer and made it further and had great successes, watching the recognition in that big of an ordeal and seeing how so many of them come from such different walks of life, the diversity. And it just really helps you know that it doesn't matter what season of life you're in right now, you can also do the same thing because it's all about how you look at things. Do you choose to look at excuses or do you choose to look at things as a reason why?
I love it. I know your excuses can also be your why so often. I love that. And just like you said, seeing other people winning, I'm taking notes. Um, so thank you for sharing, Megan, and thank you for being there. Megan had to overcome, we all had to overcome obstacles to get there. Megan definitely had to overcome some obstacles to be there. So I'm so proud of you for just making the decision and showing up and just being there and being present. So, okay, next we're going to hear from Kim. This was also her first event, and she's also kind of a baby. And so I'm excited to hear, Kim, what was your takeaway?
So for me, like Megan, it was just wonderful. You just had to be there. It just don't do justice if you wasn't. But the most thing for me was in order to change your life, you must first change your mindset. Because a lot of times we hold ourselves back, with all these negative thoughts or whatever it is, or people telling us that we're not this and we're not that. And just knowing that, God isn't asking us to figure it out because He is asking that we trust that He already has figured it out. So that was my best takeaway from that because we get so caught up in like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, just get caught up in our way and not trusting in God's way. Like He already has it laid out for us. So He know. And then just recruiting a pal, like Megan said, watching all the different ladies from their different walks of life. But the thing that I noticed about each lady there is they had, even though we're a sisterhood and we all lean on each other, they had a pal that they can literally lean on and come up with together. Like me and Megan discussed, we might be on different journeys in our path, but we're here together because we're both new. So we're pals because we're new. So we can come up on our journey together. One might get there faster than the other, but we're accountability partners. So that was the biggest takeaway from me. Change your life so you can change your mindset, change your life.
I love it. And you're right. You do just have to be there. Like, it's really hard to explain the feeling when you're not there. So you can explain the training, you can like recap things, but you really have to be in the room to really get the experience. I mean, I I agree with that. And I love change your mindset to change your life. Yes. We cannot be stuck in our old ways of thinking. So, it has served us up until this point, or maybe it hasn't, but moving forward, we got to change our mindset. So, thank you so much for sharing, Kim, and thank you also for being there. Zero hesitation. She already knew. She was like, "Oh, we going. This is going to happen." Yes. So, way to go. Okay, next, I am going to have Melissa share. So, not her first event, but definitely her first fall advance. So, Melissa, let me spotlight you. What are your takeaways? Here. Hmm. I was able to ask you to unmute until I spotlighted you. Oh, there you go.
Did
Yay.
that work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yay.
So the biggest takeaway I had was from Robbie Brannon, I believe it was. She said, "Get up, dress up, and get your assets out the door. Be an influence. Um, Influence comes before income. Influence is how you make people feel. It's about connection, asking questions." And then she was like, when people see you, what do they see? How you dress, how you walk, how you smile. We're the face of Mary Kay. Um, and it's taken me a little bit to get there because I used to work at a job where I didn't have to dress up. I got up, put my hair in a ponytail and a hat, and went out the door. But this job going out the door, I need to be a Mary Kay face. So I'm going to get up, dress up, and get my assets out the door.
I love it. Was that in one of the breakout trainings? Because I did not.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, I did not hear that. So get up, dress up, and get your assets out the door. I can so see that coming from her too. That's so funny.
Huh?
I absolutely
Jeff
love it.
wants to know if he can put his on here, if he can tell his
Oh yeah,
takeaway.
absolutely.
I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna stay behind over here so you won't see me. I'm a little camera shy, but the main thing with me was God first. Y'all had me crying the whole time I was in there. The sisterhood, the bond y'all have, the sharing information, and y'all can reach out to each other when you're in need. I mean, there's such a wonderful thing how y'all take care of each other. And it's not a company, it's a family. And I see a lot of different things, people touching each other's heart and all that. And I'm about to cry now. But anyway, it really, really amazed me how strong y'all are and how y'all can empower women and give them the courage and strength to be who they are. No matter what happens, they can be them and be free in life. And that means a lot.
Oh, thank you, Jeff, for sharing. I love it. Now you're gonna make Melissa cry.
We
I'm
loved
sorry.
having you,
Hey,
Jeff.
I
You were
love every one of
great.
y'all. I had a great time. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Yes. Wait till you go to leadership. Oh, it's even better. And every event is so different too. So actually, I am going to have Scarlett share next, and that's actually something I was going to ask you, Scarlett. Now that you have been to several events, would you say, because they're all very different, there's Mary Kay events, there's like seminar, there's career conference, and then you haven't been to leadership yet, but this was probably a very different event from the other ones that you've been to so far. So I'd love to hear if you feel every event is important and just your takeaways. So let me spotlight you. Hold on. Spotlight. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so you just pretty much read from my index card. But yeah, so one of the things I is go to every event. They are all different. You learn something new at every event. a couple of things that I kept hearing is have God as a business partner. He's my number one. So definitely, going to go with that. But one thing that stuck out to me the most was I think it was Vivian. She affirmed my goals. Basically, some of her goals were quitting her job and retiring her husband. And it's interesting because I guess that retiring her husband or whatever was at the age of 55, which is just around the corner from my husband, and that's what I'm going to do. I am retiring him. Um, and it's done. It is done. So that's just, the sisterhood is amazing, y'all. I said I wasn't going to cry during that trip. That was a lie. That was a lie. Very powerful, but yeah, it's amazing.
I love it. And you're the only one that I wrote down an actual question for. So that's crazy that you were already going to say that because it's just, I just definitely wanted to hear your perspective and you were already going to say it because I didn't, all I did was just reach out to the ladies that went to Fall Advance and said, hey, would you share a takeaway? I didn't give any direction whatsoever. So I also love that Vivian affirmed your goals. I feel like confirmation, we've been talking about this in our Bible study. Confirmation comes from so many different like directions, but you usually know. You're like, oh, that was for me. So I love it. I love it. Okay. And Scarlett, yeah, all of us, Scarlett definitely had to overcome obstacles to be there, but she was there. And so I'm so proud of you for being there and showing up to everything, even if it's with a tiny fight at first, it's okay. I will survive. Okay, so I'm gonna have Kelly share next. Kelly has been to several events. This was not her first fall advance. So Kelly, I can't spotlight you until you let us see you. But are you ready, Kelly? Let me push that button.
I'm trying. Hang on. There.
There we go. Okay, so with this being not your first fall advance, and definitely not your first Mary Kay event, I would love to hear your takeaways too.
Well, I don't just have one takeaway, but we only talked about one takeaway because we don't have all night. But the first thing I want to say is I started not to go to this one because I really didn't have the money. I didn't have the mental capacity and a lot of other things at that time in my life. But I decided that, you know what? If there's any event with Mary Kay, this is the one you need to go to because it's not about the business per se. It's about personal development and self-care. We run hard every day, loving on and celebrating other women. And in the meantime, we're running ourselves down too sometimes because we're not taking that time to have self-care for ourselves, which is very important because if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not going to be able to take care of anybody else. So it was important for me to get there, and I was going to figure it out how to get the money before the first. But thankfully, I thought, okay, my son always gives me a birthday present. So I'm just telling him, I want this for my birthday. So he did send me the money to register on time. And then I came up with the rest. But anyway, so if you never go to any other event, but I'm not telling you don't go because everyone you get something different. But this time, go get celebrated. And it's the end of the year, and it gives you the inspiration, the drive, and the motivation to go finish off the year strong. Not the Mary Kay year, but the year itself, because we start to run down at the end of the year, coming into Christmas and the holidays. So make sure you go next year. Figure out a way. There's always a way. We have the tools in our hands. But the takeaway that I got was commit yourselves to excellence. It makes the difference. And I think it was Orinda where she was talking about dressing cute and being ready to go early in the morning because, you know, when we look good, we feel good and we sparkle and shine. So everywhere we go, we need to represent and be visible. We can't stay in and do what we're supposed to be doing because we're not visible to the people God's putting in our path. So be ready, commit yourself to excellence, and it's going to make a big difference in your life. All right. Thank you. I love y'all. Thank you for this sisterhood that is just incredibly amazing. And I need it every day. All right. Bye.
I love it so much. Thank you, Kelly. I love that you shared. I loved everything you said, but you didn't have the money or the mental capacity to go, but you did it anyway. So Mary Kay Ash used to talk about, or maybe it was a national, used to talk about the Bidia Club. It's BIDIA, but I did it anyway because that's what we do. People that go to events, they don't have all the answers. They don't always feel like going to events. They don't have the money. They don't have the childcare. They don't have the time off work. Trust me when I say the circumstances never line up properly to go to an event. My very first seminar, my bank account actually went negative while I was there, but I am so glad that I went because I would not be here today if it wasn't for that event. For every event makes a difference. So I love it. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, so last, but definitely not least, is our very own DIQ, Camila Walker. So let's celebrate her as a DIQ. First of all, that's a really big deal. And Camila has actually been to every single event since the day she joined Mary Kay. No questions, no excuses. Literally, I have zero doubt that there has been obstacles every single time Camila goes to an event. Lots of obstacles. And I have never, ever heard her say, I can't go, or even, I don't think I can go. There's never been a question. She's always been one to show up and show up with excellence, not just at events, but in her business, period. And so, Camila, oh my gosh, I'm excited to hear your takeaway because at this point, you've been to so many events. Do you feel like events are even worth going to? Obviously, you were there, but what is your takeaway?
All right. So before I give my takeaway, what I want everyone to do is give themselves a pat on the back for showing up and working your business. And not only that, yo, we're number one. Let's get it. We are number one. So again, cheers to everyone for showing up and working their business and going after their heart's desires. All right, let's see. Yes, going to events are worth it. I learn something every time I go. I have been ups, I have been down, I've been across, I've been all over the place. But nevertheless, I still come and meet in the middle. So I have big goals, and this weekend was just confirmation. I know I felt like I was a celebrity this weekend because not only I had everybody, approaching me and just giving me wanting tips and all that, but what I want everyone to do is get that one thing that inspires you. For my first event, it was a pair of cowboy boots because I knew I wanted to go to Nashville. And here we are. We're going back to Nashville again. And we got earrings. We got cute little earrings. So that is one of my visualizations that I'm going to Nashville, but is how I want to plan to show up. I was also given these bumblebees. These are my visualization that I'm gonna earn that bumblebee this year at seminar. So I never was a dreamer before Mary Kay, but every time, every day I go, I'm seeing things. And I was just in Hobby Lobby and I see all this bee things. And it's like, okay, it's starting to come together. And it's that, again, it's that one thing that is going to push you. So you got to buy it before you need it, or buy it before it even comes true. So that every day when you're working towards your goal and you're feeling down and out. And Wendy will probably tell you, like, I remember when I was going for directorship before and I wanted to go to that leadership, and the last day of the month, and I still needed 6 active team members to be able to earn that trip. I was sicker than a dog. I had migraines. I had been in the house in the dark for 3+ days straight. But that morning I felt a nudge and I was like, okay, did I buy these boots for nothing? Did I want to just give up on this goal because it's unrealistic? But yet I had less than what 24 hours to decide.
More like 12, not
12,
even.
yeah, less than 24 hours to decide, okay, is this gonna happen? I didn't know how it was gonna happen. I had to do a whole lot of phone calls, a lot of, friend favors, family favors. And I finally got that last person in with probably like less than 10 minutes till 1 o'clock to spare. But it happened. So again, and then my takeaway from this trip was our struggles develop us. So again, life has been life, and I know I'm not the only one that's been going through life right now. But it doesn't define who you are as a person, because you will overcome it. I have been working on faith, and every day I'm asking God to guide my steps, guide my tongue, and guide my efforts. And that's all I can do, and trust that He will see me through this. And then I also wanted to say is be your number one consultant. Set the standard. Track what matters. Guard your thoughts. Finish what you start, and fill your cup daily. And any goal that you go after, you will get it. And it's all about timing. It's all about God's timing. If you don't make it on that date, you don't change the goal. You just change the date. Simple as that. So I'm cheering every last one of you on, regardless of what your goals are. And I'm just excited, like, every day. And I don't know, for some reason, that song that they played at leadership, I can't stop hearing it. Like, it's you're worth more than gold. Like, confidence. Vivian had a box of her like scriptures and that she wrote, and she was passing around and allowed us to pick one. And mine was confidence. You got to have confidence to show up for yourself, show up for your business, whether it's about Mary Kay or anything. Confidence. You need that confidence. Because again, if nobody else is going to have it for you. So you show up, like the other woman said on here, like, get up, get cute, and be confident. And you'll be a magnet. You'll be surprised. Every day I make my purpose to give a compliment to somebody and genuinely mean it. Because it'll come. You'll be blessed. I promise you will be blessed. So just show up, ladies. Go to every event, because again, you will get something out of every trip that we go to. And plus, who doesn't love a road trip? Like, let's be for real. So that's what I have for you ladies tonight.
Camila, I think we can just hop off now. We're good. We have gotten what we need. That's so good. I'm so proud of you too for showing up always, always with no hesitation, just always showing up. And I love all the things. So I know that first Nashville trip, she had they're different boots than what y'all see now, because now we have matching boots. So that's a really good visual if you're like, look, I'm committed to moving into leadership. Get a pair. I can send you the link. Get a pair of the boots that we have, because we are going to be showing up to Nashville with our matching boots again. And I love the bee visual too, and just now you're seeing bees everywhere. And I love also that you said you didn't dream before Mary Kay. I don't love that, but I love that now you do, because that reminds me of a Mary Kay Ash quote. She said, most people live and die with their music still unplayed. They never dare to try. And that's so true, because I feel like most women that come into Mary Kay at that point, we've stopped dreaming. We're just like, this is just the way life is. This is the hand that I've been dealt. And I love that you are just showing and proving that we can come into this business and dream again, or dream for the first time. Maybe I think, we think like when we were little, maybe that was the last time we dreamed. Y'all ever did that MASH thing where you like mansion, apartment? Yeah, okay. So that's probably the last time I dreamed before Mary Kay. Really dreaming big, and then we grow up and we're like, oh, my dreams were unrealistic. And I also love that you said our struggles develop us, because that's so true. Our struggles do develop us. And that was definitely a theme. I feel like it wasn't the theme. The theme was flourish, but I heard about this study one time where it was a plant study, and there was, here, I want to see everybody. So there was a greenhouse, and they tried to perfectly replicate nature, and they were growing these plants. And so they had artificial sunlight, they had just like the perfect conditions, rain when it was needed. And these plants, they all kept dying. They just withered away and died. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with their study and why their greenhouse wasn't working. And when they finally figured it out, the problem was that this greenhouse was lacking one thing that they have that exists in nature, and that's wind. So without resistance, plants literally cannot survive. The fact that they have to strengthen themselves to withstand the storms and the wind meant that the plants were strong enough to live. So I like to think of us the same way. Like, if we are not strong, we cannot withstand any storm. And so our struggles do develop us and they refine us. So I love all these takeaways. Thank you so much for sharing. I took a whole page of notes and I was there. So I love it. And thank you all for being there. Thank you for showing up. And representing this #1 unit. Y'all, the Sparkling Stars was dominating that stage. Sales, consultant sharing. And I can't remember everything, but I'm pretty sure. So Scarlett and Camila were both up there for sharing. We had so many people for consultant sales, top of our area. So it was just like, from the Wendy Lemax unit, from the Wendy Lemax unit, from the Wendy. I'm like, this is so exciting. It's so fun. And just being celebrated as the #1 unit so far year to date there was also really fun and exciting. And I had some surprises too. Apparently, being the #1 director in sharing so far for the year, I had no idea. So that I was just crying the whole time. I was crying all the days, and then we got to go to the ocean. We spent time in the ocean. We spent time at the beach. We spent time just being in each other's presence. Some of us went and had ice cream. It was so amazing. So you don't want to miss an event. And the next event is leadership. And in order to go to leadership, because leadership is one event, it's the only event that not everybody can go to. All of the other events, anyone can go. It doesn't matter if you just joined the day that registration closes, you can still go. But leadership is one event where it's only for leaders. So normally leadership is only for sales directors and national sales directors. But on occasion, it's not every year. And sometimes 4 or 5 years will go by without this being the case. But on occasion, they will allow DIQs to go to leadership. And this leadership coming up is one of those occasions. So there's still time for you to become a sales director in between now and leadership, which would be you becoming a director by January 1st. But even if that doesn't happen, you can still attend leadership as a DIQ who submits by January 1st. So who's going to Nashville with us? Who needs the link for your matchy boots? Yes, it's going to be powerful. Girl, what are you doing? Say hey. Say hi, everybody. No? Okay, that's fine. All right, so I'm going to move into training, and this is a pretty like meat and potatoes training, okay? I feel like you definitely just got your mindset training with all those takeaways and just everything that's been shared so far. This is very practical training tonight, and I'm going to be talking about working your business and your parties full circle. So working full circle means we don't stop at the parts we like. It's easy to do the parts of this business that you like, right? So let me spotlight myself again, only for the, it's only for, what is this girl doing? It's for the YouTube, and that's why I do it. So it's easy to do the parts of this business that you like, right? Girl, put that thing away. Heck no, put that away. No, give me that. So working full circle means we actually work full circle. That means we do the things we don't like too. So we run the entire system all the way through so results come. Who wants results? I want results, right? So the very, very basic full circle that you'll hear is book, coach, sell, recruit, repeat. But I'm breaking it down even further tonight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you 12 full circle components. And while I go through these 12, I want you, this is going to be a very interactive, and the way the rest of this Zoom goes depends on you, not me. So I'm going to tell you the 12, but while I'm telling you the 12, I want you to put in the chat which ones you want me to go deeper on, because I can't go deeper on all 12 tonight. So, Olivia, babe, you got to go. Or sit still quietly. Those are pens and you're writing on me. Okay. So, number 1. So please use the chat, you guys, and tell me which ones of these you want me to go deeper on or you have questions about, okay? So number 1 is lead generation. Lead generation is a steady stream of new names every week from at least 5 sources, one always being referrals, always. And honestly, if you work it right, you could have only referrals. You might not ever have to lead generate if you work your parties truly full circle. So number 1 is lead generation. Number 2 is strong booking skills and habits so that your calendar stays income producing. If your calendar is Snow White, you're out of business, but you can fill it up at any time, you guys. That's the great news. Any of this can change in a day. Number 3 is confident coaching and pre-profiling so that you have no surprises at the table. You know exactly who will be there. You know exactly what their skin is like. You know all the things when you show up. You're not guessing on your guest count. You're not like, I think there might be 3 people there. You know, because you're pre-profiling and coaching. Number 4 is flip chart mastery. So follow the flip chart start to finish. I still use my flip chart at every single party. Every time, every party, no questions asked. And facials. I use my flip chart at facials too. It's not just parties. I use them at one-on-ones also. Or use it, not them. I have one flip chart. And then number 5 is individual consultation mastery. So the individual close is where dollars happen. It's where decisions happen. It doesn't happen at the table. So without your individual consultation or your individual close at your parties, you are literally just free entertainment. That is what you are. You're going to walk out with no money and you're going to be sad. So we have to do individual closes at our skincare sessions. This is so important. Number 6 is your Party to Rise program weekly focus. It's not just random effort. It's directed effort. It's knowing I am looking for faces, share calls, and sales, period. And then number 7 is share call. On the full circle chart, it says career survey mastery. It's share calls. It's sharing the business opportunity. So in this business, leaders are found. They do not just come to you. They do not just get, well, sometimes they do. We do have exceptions to the rule, but typically we find the leaders. And you have to be very intentional about share calls. And then number 8 is product knowledge and personal use. This gives you credibility because you use what you're telling them to use. So knowing more about the products requires that you use the products. So this was something that was not super easy for me in the beginning, but I had to get rid of everything that wasn't Mary Kay. Because if I didn't get rid of it, I would keep using it. It felt wasteful, but I had decided to dedicate my time and effort towards building this business, and I couldn't be a woman of not integrity by using one product and selling another. So product knowledge comes from using the product, and it gives you credibility. And then number 9 is systems for follow-up and customer service. The fortune is in the follow-up. 100% without a doubt. Mary Kay Ash always said, if you walk away from a party and you never follow up, you're leaving $2,000 on the table. Well, Mary Kay Ash died 21 years ago. So imagine what that $2,000 looks like today without follow-up. And this is not just from customers, it's from customers. Share calls are follow-up. So customers, team members, additional parties, your bookings from your bookings, and following up with the referrals that you leave with at the party. So all of that is considered follow-up, but also having a good system for customer service. And then next, number 10, sorry, is event and meeting attendance. You have to refill the belief tank to keep going. I don't think I have to talk about this one too much because it's literally just attend everything. That includes these Zooms. Show up to every Zoom. This is the week by week. Nobody feels like getting on these either. Did anybody actually feel like getting on the Zoom tonight? I don't even feel like getting on these Zooms, y'all. But when I get here and I'm with y'all, then I'm like, this is so fun and exciting. So show up to everything. Number 11 is effective gold works too. Effective goal setting and execution. This is not wishes. This is plans with follow through. So goal setting. If you do not have a goal right now for October, that's a problem. If you don't have a goal for this weekend, that's a problem. If you don't have a goal for tomorrow, that's a problem. That's like getting in the car, not knowing where you're going, not using a GPS, and just driving and hoping that one day you get there. It's very unlikely. If you just work your business aimlessly, you're not going to get where you want to go. And then number 12 is consistent communication with your sales director. That is so important. So as a director, so if you want to move into leadership in this business, they always tell us you communicate with the masses, but you move people up one-on-one. You cannot show up on all these Zooms and expect to move up the career path. It's not how it works. There needs to be tweaks. You need to be open to coaching. There needs to be communication. So if I never hear from people, I am not the type of director that's going to chase people down. I will definitely communicate more with new consultants because they don't know yet. They don't know what's going on yet. But when you've been in the business for a while and I never hear from you, I'm not going to come knock on your door and say, hey, what are you doing? And it's not because I don't care. It's not that at all. But I can't do that for everyone. So I spend the most time with the people that reach out to me. And so sometimes I hear, oh, I don't want to bother you. Or people will literally start a text with, sorry to bother you, but, and I'm like, y'all, stop, just stop. You are my job. And you better believe if I have an issue, I'm going straight to Ruth. So as a director, you reach up to your national. As a consultant, you reach up to your director. Whatever you're going through in your business, I've been there. Now, I might not have been there where you are in your personal life, but in your business, I have. If you're frustrated because all your bookings are canceling, I've been there. If you're frustrated because you just knew that team member was going to be the one and now you can't get a hold of her and you are like, what is happening? I've been there. If you're frustrated because literally nobody you're calling is booking, I've been there. If all of your bookings are canceling, I've been there. If you go hold a bunch of parties and you sell nothing, I've been there. I've been where you are in your business. So if you want advice, why are you asking people who aren't where you want to be? For real. So be open to coaching. And when this circle breaks, the momentum dies. But when the circle repeats, the momentum compounds. So do you want dead momentum, which is no momentum, or do you want momentum that is compounding? It's like a snowball rolling back down a hill. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually you can't stop it because the momentum is there, but only when we work our business full circle. So I always tell people we have 3 streams of income in this business: sales, team building, the car program. Are you maximizing your streams of income in this business? Why are you leaving money on the table? Why are you out there looking for a part-time job when you literally have a business opportunity at your fingertips that can pay you more than any part-time job will? For real, let's be honest. So, okay, I am like blown away at how many of y'all said individual close. So tell me in the chat what questions you have about individual closing, and I'm gonna tell you some stuff, but I would love to know if there are specific questions. So when it comes to individual close, the most important thing that I have found for me to do in order to make this happen is when I walk in a hostess's house, the first thing I do, because typically the first thing she says to you is there anything I can do for you? How can I help? What do you need? And I say, I'm just going to set this bag over here on the couch because at the end, I'm going to talk to everybody individually. Is it okay if I use the couch? 99% of the time, my individual close is on the couch. But I have been to so many parties where there is no couch or like everything is in one spot. Now, if it's a one-on-one, whatever, it's fine. But when it comes to, hold on one second. Sorry, she just keeps coming in and out and it's driving me crazy and I'm about to choke her. So, anyway, so you have to decide ahead of time where the individual close is happening. So when I tell you to pack your bags, does everybody know the Canva site or the landing page that I have for parties, right? If anybody has that link, just drop it in the chat for me. So on that page, it tells you how to pack for your parties, how to pack your roll-up bags to sell. And on that page, it tells you to have 2 bags. So 2 bags. Okay, so it's not necessarily like how to make sure it happens. It's more so feeling rushed. Okay, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that too, but I still want to finish giving this tip. If you don't intentionally set aside an individual close station at the beginning of the party, you're not going to do it. You're just going to sit down at the table with them and be like, all right, who's first? And you're just going to look around the table. Bank accounts. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. That is a great site that will lay out the logistics of it. But bank accounts and blemishes are private matters that are not to be discussed at the table. They are not going to say to you, I can't afford this product at the table. Or if they feel like their friends are already saying that, they're not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to get the Cadillac clothes or the Cadillac bundle. I'm going to get the Cadillac bundle. They're not going to say that at the table. They say that at the individual close. So, and Tiffany, if your stuff is this is a skill. It's not automatic. And I will tell you that literally never happens to me, but it did before. So you have to know that you're not going to allow that. It's not an option because I'm so sorry, my gifts are in the other room. You do not have to buy anything. So if they're hesitant, I always say, you don't have to buy anything, but everyone's gifts are in the other room. So I'm just going to quickly take you individually and we're going to do it. And the other thing is, if you leave it up to them who goes first, nobody will go. But if I said, Melissa, I'm going to just quickly speak with you first, grab your papers and come on, you're not going to sit there and be like, no. Nobody does that. Now, I do see very rarely where someone is like, I'll go with her. Like it's a mom and daughter type of thing or something like that. But I still have my gifts in the other room. So I'm not handing out gifts at the table. And so you have to make the decision that you're always going to do an individual close. Now, does that mean that I do an individual close literally every single time? No. You've probably been to parties of mine where I didn't. I'm not perfect, but that is my standard. That is my normal, is everybody does an individual close. And then at the individual close, you take the flip chart. The flip chart tells you exactly what to say. So you're just like, thank you so much for being here. Y'all were so fun. And the flip chart tells you what questions to ask. How did you enjoy yourself? And you're smiling. How does your skin feel? And then you're touching your face because she usually will too. What questions do you have? Typically, they don't have a ton of questions because they asked a bunch of questions for tickets at the table. But sometimes they do. And then you look at their paper, their survey, right? So you look at their survey and you see what it says. So I see you want to take home the basic set today. Was there anything else you were thinking about? And this tells you, was there anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Because a lot of times they want more than what they wrote down. They just didn't know what to write down. They didn't know the name of the product. And they'll be like, well, what was that stuff that we like dotted and then blended? So sometimes they'll have questions like that. And then you sell them the product. And then, okay, so I see for your second session, you want to do a weekend. So I have this day or this day, which one works better? And then if you have to go a little further out, do it. It's just like a booking call. Get them booked. And then, okay, so I see you said in the next 48 hours, Monday is best for a quick follow-up call. Let me pull up the calendar right quick. And you're booking me for the share call at the individual close, y'all. You cannot leave a party and text me, I have a share call Tuesday at 12. Because Tuesday at 12 might not be available. You have to open my calendar while you're at the share call or while you're at the individual close and book the share call immediately. Some of y'all are great at that. But again, this is a skill. So you get them booked for the share call. And then what I do, I used to do it different. I used to get everyone's order and then collect all the products and hand them out at the table. I don't do that anymore because now I do fill roll-up bags. So they literally have a roll-up bag at the individual close. So they grab their papers and they grab their roll-up bag and they bring all of that to the individual close. So then if they're like, oh, the basic set, we just open the roll-up bag and we pull the basic set out. I put it in a shopping bag and they're good to go. They're done. Like at that point, they're done. So then I just say, thank you so much for, being here. I really appreciate it. So when you say not feeling rushed during the individual close, do you feel like a lot of people are just chatty or asking a bunch of questions? Or do you feel like it's just that you feel bad that you're there for a couple minutes and then the other people are still back at the table? Because I do have a solution for that too, especially right now. So take a basket, like your temptation basket to your parties, and you can leave it on the table during the individual close and they can shop out of the basket. They can be looking at stuff, especially if you have like perfumes and stuff in it, they can be smelling stuff. You can leave something at the table for them to do. So sometimes I've done baskets. Some people also do what's called a dream book where they have just printed, it's just like a 3-ring binder with sheet protectors in it. And it's your Mary Kay story and your goals. And they can flip through it and kind of like our flip chart, but it's just about the business and it's you personalized. It does not have to be fancy. The director whose meetings I used to attend as a consultant is Kay Driggers, and she always did that. She always had a dream book, and she would let people look through it on their own. And so if you leave them something to do at the table, that helps a lot. And then Kim, okay, so not wanting anyone to leave before you finish, that's okay as long as you did the first part of the party correct. As in, they have filled out the profile card and they have filled out their survey. So even if they leave during the individual close, you now have their profile card and you have their survey. So you have their information because, again, follow up is where the fortune is. So if we're following up with everyone, even if they left early, then that will help alleviate that. You'll still be following up with them. Like, thank you so much for being at Camila's skincare session. I really enjoyed meeting you. I know you had to leave early, so I just wanted to check in and see how your skin was feeling and, things like that. So you're just following up with them. Also, this is literally the whole entire point of the $100 for 100 faces drawing, is so that you turn your faces in, which nobody's been doing, FYI. So we're about to start posting about this a whole lot, but you turn your faces in so that I will call them. I was actually just on the 10K Zoom. So directors earn a special Zoom when their units do over 10,000 wholesale in a month. And I was just on that this past week, and it was Lisa Madsen and her daughter. Lisa Madsen, she was a $1 million sales director. Actually, she's been a $1 million sales director for years and years and years, but now she's a national, and as nationals, they don't get recognized for what their personal unit does. But her unit has done million for like 30 years in a row. It's something insane like that. And she said one of the biggest things that made the difference from her being where she was to now where she is, her retirement package is like $15 million. Y'all, who's working for a company that's going to give you a $15 retirement package that you don't have to pay a penny into? Anyone? Okay. So the way that she got there, one of the actually the biggest tip that she gave us that she said made the biggest difference was that she personally, as the sales director, called every single face that her unit saw. And I'm like, that is wonderful. I want to do that, but I can't because I don't have y'all's information. So when you turn in the faces form, I will follow up with your guests for you. So even if they leave out the door early, it's okay. Every face, every time. I don't care who they are. Turn your faces in. Just turn them in. And the form asks, what was the date of the session? What did they buy? That's just so I know, where I'm like, oh, I see you got the CC cream. How are you liking it? So that's just so it's not for you to feel bad. Like if you're putting, they gave me no referrals. They didn't buy anything. And there is a question I ask if I'm following with them are. I'm just going to put it there because I follow everybody. That's part of my job, is to follow up all your faces. So I can help cut falls through the cracks. Okay, and then Scarlett, so you feel body they want to leave. Do you feel like that's a you thing or them thing? Because I think sometimes for me, that kind of thing is like a me thing. Like I just feel like I feel like a burden, if that makes sense. And it's because of my lack of confidence, not because they're like, or they're staring, it's not like they're giving me signs that they want to leave. But a lot of times when it's just like, I feel like I'm in the way, if that makes sense. And a lot of that I had to just build my confidence and also just know that my parties are fun and they want to be there. Like Mary Kay is awesome. Here's two things that are very true. The sky is blue and Mary Kay is awesome. Also, they love being at your parties because they're fun. So just if they make you feel that way, that's one thing. I definitely have had parties where I have felt that from them. So I go faster or I skip things sometimes, and that's okay. Because I would rather do the party faster and still do the individual close than do the party slower and skip the individual close. So if you got to like rush through parts of the party, it's fine. It is what it is. So, and yes, And the good thing about skills are the more you do them, the more confident you get in doing them. The only reason I'm so confident now is because I've done hundreds of parties, maybe thousands of parties at this point. I have done so many parties, thousands of faces, thousands of individual closes. It just comes with time. You just have to keep doing it. And it's okay. And then let's see. Overcoming not having a spot to do an individual close. Okay, so yeah, I've done the individual close on beds before. Like I will sit on their bed and they will come and sit with me. And I've done them, like I did a party on a pool table one time because we just didn't have a place to do it. So they had a pool table, but not a kitchen table. Weird, but it is what it is. So, even if it's like a spot over in the corner, we've done that before where it's, especially when we have parties where multiple people come to help. When you come to help at a party, you do individual closes. And sometimes it's like, okay, you go stand in that corner. I'm going to go stand in this corner. We make it work. There's always a corner that you can stand in, or usually there's a couch. That's ideal, but they're not all perfect for sure. And then let me see. I feel like I'm reading. Confident coaching and pre-profiling and follow-up systems. Okay. So, Kelly, the coaching and pre-profiling, what I will say about that, and if anybody has a link for this because y'all are so resourceful, the booking and coaching playbook, 100%. It's what I do. It's how I get my bookings to hold. But also be yourself. Don't be afraid to share your goals. I was just texting one of my hostesses today, and this is actually part of the booking and coaching playbook. This is part of like my text that I send out. But I said, hold on, let me find the text. Oh, okay. So she said, I'm sorry, I just got back from Georgia. My skin has been really oily lately, not sure why. So I sent the quick question. If you had a magic wand, what's one thing you'd change about your skin? Just curious so I can tailor a few things for you. But right before that, I said, thanks so much and no worries. I was in Florida, LOL. So like customize it. These are people. Get to know the people. Start to build the relationship before you ever go to the party. And then she said, how was your trip? If I had a magic wand, I'd have to say I would definitely get rid of these freckles. And then she said a little bit more, and I said, thank you. My trip was amazing. I hope yours was too. And then in the same text, I said, in the email is all the guest details. Feel free to share with any ladies who could use some pampering. I'm aiming to meet 10 women each week. And if you have 3 guests, I'll double your gift bag. Did the email come through? This is one of the texts that is in the playbook. And she said, yes, I received it. I'm trying to get my group together now. I'm so excited. So it's like a conversation while I'm coaching, if that makes sense. So it's not always exactly what you see in the playbook, because I also want to really thank you, Michelle. I love it. Michelle, you're very resourceful. So I want to make sure that I know things about her before I show up. I don't want to just show up to total random strangers. You want to be relatable, and you're relatable a lot of times and make connections by asking questions. So our coaching playbook has tons of questions, but feel free to add your own too. Like she said she went to Georgia. I could have been like, hey, so what'd you go to Georgia for? Was it a fun trip? And don't be afraid of their answer, because she could say, I had to go for a funeral. And then I would ask a question about that. And I would say, like, I'm so sorry for your loss. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Lots of questions. You're not prying. Women love talking. I don't know if you know this, but women love talking, and people in general actually do like talking about themselves because it makes people feel like they care. So if you're asking questions about her, she feels like you care. And of course, you should care. Of course, that's part of it, to actually care. But that's the way to connect with people, and that's a huge part of coaching. Do y'all feel like question because it's 8:31. Do y'all feel like it would be beneficial to continue full circle talking next week? Like to continue going through these 12 things? Like there's more to learn? Yes. Okay. I can see Camila and Scarlett, and they're both saying yes. So, oh, yes. Oh, definitely. Okay, great. We will continue talking about this. Oh, good. Scarlett has lots of questions. And the thing is, if you have the question, probably other people have the same question. So, we'll continue talking about this next week. And we'll go through all 12 of these. We'll break them down more because honestly, each of these individually could be their own training. But I also want to make sure that I go through what you want to know because I can just come up with all these trainings all day long, but if it's not what you're stuck on, then you're not going to get unstuck. So we want to work full circle. We'll continue this next week. I do want to take a picture. So before we do our affirmation together, let me take it off of speaker view. So everybody say cheese. Okay. All right, look at the camera and smile. Here we go. I love it. Okay. So cute. Okay, so now, if you can, unmute yourself. This part's always super fun. I love hearing all the affirmations. So unmute yourself and you're going to repeat after me. I choose full circle work.
I choose full circle work.
I don't stop at half done.
I don't stop at half done.
I build, I finish, I repeat.
I build, I finish, I repeat.
I rise when it's easy and I rise in the storms.
I rise when it's easy and I rise in the storms.
I'm a finisher, a leader, and a builder.
I'm a finisher, a leader, and a builder.
And I work this business full circle.
And I work this business full circle.
All the way to the top.
All the way to the top.
Absolutely. I love it. So now we're going to put some action behind the training. Your homework is simple. Okay. Simple does not mean easy, FYI, but it's simple. I want you to see 5 in-person faces this week. I don't care who they are. Look, go have somebody sit down at Starbucks with you and try the products. 5 in-person faces this week and fill out the $100 faces form for each one. That's your homework. But also, you could come up with a list of questions.
The $100 face form?
Wait, what?
The $100 face form. What form is that?
I will put the $100 face form in the Facebook post that I put up with the replay link. Let me write.
Okay.
So faces form. So that's actually my big focus right now. I don't know if y'all noticed, but sometimes the focus comes in waves. Like I will so I've been posting more consistently about getting on this Zoom. Now I'm going to start on a different day. So it's not all in the same day. I'm going to be posting this faces form regularly, at least once a week. So go ahead and save it because I want you to fill it out when you do the party. I don't want it to be like, oh, here's my faces for last month. I would much rather it be as you go because then I can call and say, hey, Tiffany, for example, thank you so much for being at Kelly's skincare session yesterday. I know she really loved meeting you and you're really helping her build her business. Thank you for supporting her. And it's fresh. And what I say, in case you haven't heard this yet, is I am working on me becoming a better leader, and I'm working on helping Kelly also become a stronger consultant as she works on moving into leadership. Do you mind if I just ask you a few questions? Well, another thing women like, they like sharing their opinion. So then I'm going to be asking things like, what was your favorite product? Was there anything that you would change? You know, because this helps, and you have to be open to hearing these things. I will soften it. I will be nice about it, but it helps to hear these things. So is there anything you would change? Is there, because Lisa Matson, she was saying, one guest was like, well, she didn't tell me it was going to be 2 hours long. That was a feedback that she got from one person. And she was like, well, I'm just curious. Did Susie Q communicate with you how long it might take? And she's like, no. So, things like that would be helpful. And then I'm going to ask, do you already have your call set up to get in the Kate Spade giveaway? No? Well, okay, let's go ahead and set that up now. Do you have your second session booked so you can get hostess credit? No? Well, I'm going to go ahead and book that for Kelly right now. If she's not available, she'll reschedule. I'm going to help with those things. So it's not just me being nosy, it's me also helping you build your business and get more customers and bookings and team members. So fill it out, get it done, see your 5 or more. Some of you have a goal to see more than 5 faces, but at least 5 faces this week. And let's do this thing. I'm excited. So if you're hopping on the glam, the whatever it's called, the party, I'm out of words. My brain is done. Then we're going to hop on there and learn from Hannah some makeup tips. But thank you so much for being on. Thank you for showing up. So we work, God multiplies, and income follows faces. So let's go get paid. Yay! Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see some of you on the next Zoom.